Now that we reached chapter 2 in chemistry, we've started to learn about the periodic table of elements. I have here a printed version of the periodic table that was in the lab notebook. I just printed it off. This table has so much information packed into it, from groups of elements that have the same characteristics, like over here, to which atoms will lose or gain electrons when becoming an ion. But just like a complicated map, we have to learn how to read the periodic table and identify these trends that are all over it. To our benefit, the periodic table comes with a lot of information already on it, like how to read the individual little boxes, and even what the rows and columns are called, as we can see here and here. So let's just talk about some of the basics. We have our columns, and these are called groups, and our rows, which are called periods or series. And there are 18 groups, as you can see, and 7 periods. Beyond our groups and our periods, we have these nice color-coded sections for us, and even the names of what those colors mean. So like this main middle section, that's a transition, those are transition metals. This group here is called alkaline earth metals. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but and just all the names that match the colors are already there for us to read. This noble gas section is like super important. But yeah, that's just all the colors. They pretty much have the names that go with them, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so now let's look at the individual boxes. Each box is a different element, obviously. So let's see here, I'll zoom in and let's look at iron. This number right here, this biggest number, that's the atomic number, and that tells us how many protons are in that element. And typically for a neutral element that's not an ion or an isotope, there's equal amounts of protons and electrons. So since we see that this has 26 protons, we can figure that there's 26 electrons as well. The smaller number that we see here is called the mass number, and that is the total number of protons and neutrons. So if we were trying to figure out how many neutrons were in the element iron, we would subtract the atomic number here from the mass number, and we would get our amount of neutrons. Now this is actually the average mass number for iron. As we learned, an element can become an isotope by losing different amounts of neutrons. So since this is an average of all of the mass numbers for the different isotopes, it's not going to be an exact number. Okay, lastly, we can look at the words here. Obviously, right here is the name of the element, and this here is the atomic symbol. Now, just a few more things to notice about the periodic table. As you can see, this atomic number is 1, this one over here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. So we can see that we can notice that the elements are arranged in increasing atomic number. Also, these groups over here, these elements, when they become an ion, they are more likely to give up an electron to become like the noble gases they are closest to. But these elements over here are more likely to gain an electron to become more like these noble gases. And that's just some basic information about the periodic table of elements. You can take a look at it, see if you can find some cool elements. Over here I found krypton, which is like kryptonite from Superman. And even way down here I found einsteinium, which is a rare earth metal named after Einstein. So there you have it.